out this beauty here. This is Palmetto State Armory Sabre, guys. Absolutely beautiful quad rail here. Got this set up as if it's ready to go into battle and set up exactly the way I want it, both day and night. So pretty dang cool to see Palmetto stepping their game up and bringing us an offering such as this, guys.
Yep. All right, just so you know, on the record here, I won.
You did win.
But
I'm gonna see if I can beat your record.
some redemption.
Oh yeah, that Mirage.
Four misses.
Know where I'm actually aiming now. What's going on, y'all? Today we are talking about the Palmetto State Armory Sabre. And let me tell you, this thing is freaking awesome, guys. But before we jump down the inside and the breakdown of this rifle, let's take a quick moment to let you know that Palmetto State Armory did send us this rifle to review. Big shout out to them for getting this to us because it was a very fun time shooting this rifle. I believe overall, collectively, we have well over 1,000 rounds between myself and Ryan, and then a student in one of my classes using this rifle as well. So it could be even more than that, but I know for sure this rifle has had 1,000 rounds through it at this point. And overall, this rifle has ran very, very smoothly. We haven't had a single issue with this thing, and we were able to suppress it the entire time because of the way this rifle was set up. But talking about the breakdown here, guys, you do have a awesome foundation of which you can build out the perfect battle rifle on this thing. PSA has came out with a lot of different models of the Sabre, so you don't always have the quad rail version. There are several different versions on their website that you can choose from, but the quad rail was definitely one that I really, really wanted. The only thing I really wanted over this one was the carry handle and solid stock version, but this will absolutely do. So taking a look at the inside of this thing, guys, you have a lot of good companies that are brought together to make up this rifle. with this Sabre, I think they did a very good job of not cheaping out when it came to a good, solid battle rifle and giving you guys basically what you guys would go out and search for anyway when you're going and doing those upgrades after you buy a gun. So I know they definitely caught my attention with the fact that they had a lot of stuff that I already buy for my rifles, and with the price point that they had this rifle at, it was very heartwarming to see that this is a very obtainable thing for everybody. So you're looking at about a $1,000 rifle here as it sits MSRP, guys. This is one of the more souped up models, but there was a couple of more budget friendly versions than this one, as well as I think at least one that was a little bit more expensive than this one. I've only seen them on their website in black and tan, but you do have several different versions of each to choose from. But jumping into the actual makeup of this rifle, guys, on the outside here, you notice you have a very nice and very solid looking quad rail. This fits perfect in the clone aspect of things. So if you guys are one of those clone people, this does look very good, and it is very convincing right off the bat. I went ahead and decked out with a Somo Gear full power laser here, a Unity tap switch, and a knockoff Surefire. The only thing is the knockoff Surefire mount did kind of come loose with all the shooting that we did do, so if I put some Loctite on that thing, made it a little bit more permanent, it would set up a little bit better. But other than that, the laser held 0, and we had the privilege of shooting the Primary Arms RD25. This is an optic that we are currently reviewing, and this is the optic that's set on this Sabre for the entire review. So I really like the setup that I have going on the top here. The only thing I will probably change is try to find maybe a different mount for this particular optic, or get me a different optic with a high rise, because you guys know I like to do my night vision stuff, so that is something that I have to adjust a little bit more to my liking. Moving down to the inside of this gun, guys, we have a JMac Customs Chemo style brake. And the reason I have these 3 suppressors sitting here is because if you were to guess how many work for this suppressor mount here, it's only actually 1. So the Dead Air Sandman was the can that we used the entire time filming, because this was the only one of the 3 that I have with the Dead Air Chemo system, the hub, that would work with this JMac custom brake. Now, we have been told that PSA has since heard about this problem, and now the new ones are coming with a different brake that'll fit more suppressors. But I believe this is still a T&E part of this process, that they don't know all which ones work and which ones don't work yet completely because of how new this is. So JMac I believe this is their first chemo style brake. It was made specifically for PSA and the Sabre, I believe. So you are looking at something that still has a little bit of time to get, absolutely fine-tuned and perfect. But out of the 3 cans, I have a Lahar K and a Lahar L, as well as that Sandman S. And my Lahars would not go onto the suppressor all the way and lock in. So if you looked at the bottom of the cans in these Lahars, you would see that the 4 prongs were hitting the bottom of that first baffle. These things have been shot enough that they're pretty dirty, and I could see the aluminum marks of the actual, or not the aluminum, the stainless steel marks, because of the carbon being scraped away from that brake trying to hit and get locked in. So only 1 out of 3 worked for us, but luckily that Sandman is a good can, so this thing was very, very fun to shoot, and I swear that this thing is meant to be suppressed. They went ahead and gave you a suppressor brake, so a lot of us have either a dead air can these days, or even maybe a dead air hub on a different can. I know a lot more of these cans are starting to become more universal, so there's a good list of stuff that works and a good list of stuff that doesn't work with these original ones. I would maybe try to get a hold of PSA if you need to know if your brake is in that before or after that line of when the new ones are being made. But that is something that I would pay attention to when you guys start getting into buying this 13.7 pinned and weld one. So, and which brings us to our next point, the barrel here. So this is a 13.7 pinned and weld setup, so you do not have to worry about any stock brace pistol laws. With it being a 13.7 with a pin brake, you get over that 16-inch mark, so you can go ahead and slap a stock on this bad boy and roll. You do not have to worry about anything special with that, which is nice. 13.7 is a lot of the rave these days. I actually already have 2 13.7s in my safe itself, So this will be another 13.7 that I am going to be adding to the collection. So just giving that up a little bit early here. This is definitely something that I have enjoyed shooting. Like we mentioned before, you're looking at well over 1,000 rounds that we've had downrange with this thing between us collectively here at GunMade and the kid that got to use, or the guy that got to use the gun at the class. So hit. One more, baby. He's a natural. Next, we have the upper here, guys. This is obviously a PSA upper and lower, but you then come into this custom Fathers of Freedom bolt carrier group. So this was something that I saw on the website. I wouldn't have known this by looking at it because this is not something that I've heard of before, but I believe MicroBest is the company that is making this BCG, and this is a special BCG, I believe, for this project. So you do have a custom bolt carrier in this thing, which is another little attention to detail that they have done. Radian charging handle, Ambi charging handle, and Ambi safety. Those are definitely two products that I recommend putting on almost all my rifles. Sometimes the situation will require just a little bit different setup, but these are some of the best aftermarket stuff that you can put on your rifle itself. And you're seeing a lot more companies actually use those stock. I know our buddy Jay at Liberty Bell, and now seeing the PSA come standard with Radian stuff is pretty dang cool. More and more leaning towards those upgrades being more of the standard moving forward, which is awesome. But coming down into the lower itself, guys, you got an HBT Hiperfire trigger. This is a very nice trigger, very clean break and reset. And one thing, when we took it apart to see how dirty it was, I noticed that it has JP Enterprises springs. And that is something that I put on every single one of my standard type of triggers, guys. That is one of the cheapest, best upgrades you can do to your rifle. And it is basically just a red and orange, or a red and yellow spring. I believe they range from 15 to 25 bucks depending on where you get them. And it takes almost any mil-spec trigger down to about a 3-pound trigger pull. So very good upgrade, and to see that on top of an already good trigger is another attention to detail that PSA put into this rifle. So going from a sick looking clone type of build to being able to customize it to exactly what you want for your needs, but not really having to focus on those expensive parts like the trigger, the charging handle, and the safety. A lot of times that's easily $250, if not more, right there. And then throw in the custom BCG, the suppressor ready mount, the 13.7 with a pin and weld already done to it. You have an absolute great piece here for the price itself. Around 1K, you are getting a absolute steal with this thing, in my opinion. So I'm going to keep the steal here and take this thing and keep it in my arsenal because it's been a very good time. We were lucky enough to get this sent to us here at GunMade to shoot, and there was a little bit of negotiating, but I think I came out on top, and I get to keep this one. So big shout out to Palmetto, guys. Thank you for sending this to us to review. We had a great time. I believe you guys have a solid lineup here with the Sabre line itself. We got to play with it a little bit at the NRA show and SHOT Show this past year, and was definitely looking forward to these last few weeks of being able to shoot this on the live range. So believer in me, the Sabre line. I guess I'm going to have to go hunt down one of those carry handle versions now and get the ultimate clone correct one. But I think this one looks pretty dang good. Really dang sweet, guys. Palmetto State Armory. Sabre. So yeah, guys, that's it from us here at GunMade. Let us know down below what you guys think of this Sabre line. Do you guys have one? Do you guys plan on getting one? We love hearing your guys' feedback, especially if it's something that is wrong with the one that you've had. Having public conversations about these issues makes companies change stuff and make it better for you guys. Speaking of specifically this muzzle brake, this thing has already been changed by PSA supposedly, and they are making sure that anything in the future that comes out is allowing a lot more suppressors to work with its host. So that's something that I can definitely get behind. I appreciate PSA being a upfront and moving forward type of company like that, and that's something that I will definitely look forward to supporting more of in the future. So we appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, y'all. Share it with your friends, and as always, we will see you guys in the next video.